I needed to have systems in place, a marketing system. The marketing runs on autopilot. I probably got anywhere between 20 and 30 campaigns running at any one time. It's all automated. You have to have an operations system, and systems give you freedom. Once the system is up and running, all you got to do is manage the thing, and then you can step back. I mean, all right, maybe you don't want to step back. I did. That's just the kind of owner I wanted to be.
Welcome to the Profit Answer Man podcast. We believe the purpose of business is to make lots of money. We'll show you how to scale and grow your profit and cash flow, all while working less. We're a big fan of the ELF model: easy, lucrative, and fun. If you're the backbone of America, you deserve to be well rewarded for that. Listen in to see how other business owners are doing it and how to maximize your profit and cash flow. Welcome to the Profit Answer Man, Vance Morris. It's great to have you join us today.
I appreciate it, Rocky. Hopefully we'll drop a few good nuggets today.
That is the hope. Can you share a little bit about yourself and your business?
Sure thing. So just going back just a little ways for context, I'm a former Disney leader. Spent a little over 10 years working for the Mouse down in Orlando, and I've really used what I learned there really throughout the rest of my career. The biggest lesson I got from them was that Disney runs on systems and processes, which we can certainly talk about later, but that's how they consistently deliver the extraordinary experiences that they're known for. So I took that whole systems and process thing, and I've had a couple of corporate jobs. Found out I make a lousy employee. I don't like to be told what to do. That's why I was going to say that's why we're unemployed, but that's why we're entrepreneurs. And in 2007, which is a great year to start a business, I did what every small boy dreams of doing and started a carpet cleaning business. But we had a very narrow focus. It was going to be a premium service for an affluent homeowner. So you were not going to find our signs on a telephone pole, get your whole house clean for $47. That was not us. So we stuck with that. And we, after a few years, opened up a Oriental rug washing facility. And about 8 years ago, we added a mold remediation company to it. Along the way, I was able to hire a general manager, put him in place, and I essentially said, just manage the systems. Don't screw with anything. If you want to change something, we'll talk about. We have a meeting every week. I said, if you got an idea, great. I'm all for moving this business forward. We'll talk about it, but don't mess with anything until we chat. So that's kind of really where I put the businesses on autopilot. I spend about 90 minutes a week on those three businesses, an hour of which is meeting with the general manager, as I just mentioned. The other 30 minutes is the checkbook. I have not and will never give up access or control of the bank accounts, the credit cards, or anything that has to do with money. So I could, I guess, sit back on the beach and drink beer and eat bonbons, but people were asking me, you don't look like you're working too hard. How you doing this? So now I show other businesses, primarily in professional services and some home service companies, how to install these systems, marketing systems, operations systems, profit systems, and really take those, create experiences, and then have what I call raving fans for life or clients for life.
And you use one of my favorite profit systems, Profit First.
I do, 100%.
How's that gone?
It's been fantastic. I mean, geez, I want to say at least 8 years, if not more, we've been doing it. And I was that idiot that didn't save enough money to pay the taxes every quarter, or didn't save enough money to do the payroll taxes. It was a no-brainer. I mean, it's a brilliant book in its simplicity. And yeah, 100%, it changed a lot of what I do. And as the book says, pay yourself first. And that's what I was able to do.
Business owners are allergic to simplicity.
They can be, but it's Disney run. I'll give you the example. Disney runs on 3 words. Okay. That's their entire system is 3 words. What to do, how to do it, and why we do it that way. That's it. All of my businesses run that way. How, what, how, and why. Now, what do we do? Answer the phone. How do we do it? And then why do we answer the phone that way? Usually it's something along the lines, well, when we make a great first impression on the customer, we separate ourselves from our competitors, and we can sift, sort, and screen out anybody who would be a bad client just by the way we answer the phone.
Interesting. And yeah, you talk about my favorite topic, which is systems and processes, which is another thing that I find a lot of business owners are allergic to. And it's funny how that is. You said you were in the carpet cleaning business. Did you ever do anything with Joe Polish Genius Network?
Sure. Yeah, Joe and I go way back.
Okay.
Yep. And as a matter of fact, he stopped doing carpet cleaners and did his 5K group or 100K group or whatever he calls it now. But then we started working on the same stages. So with Dan Kennedy and that group.
Oh, nice. I'm going to see him next week.
Joe or Dan?
Joe.
Joe. Okay.
Yeah. Learning about marketing and
He's
business
got
and
a great
everything
new
else.
book out. What's in it for them? Yep,
It looks
there
like
is.
that.
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty basic stuff. I just
It
assume
is.
people behave like that.
Well, and that's, going back to the question of, business owners like complexity, but that's where the screw ups happen. Disney's got it to the point where any minimum wage employee can wrap their little brain around the system because it's simple. If it was complex, not everything would just fall apart.
You're correct, but Disney does something else. I think they do, at least. They hire to their values and culture.
Oh, 100%.
They're not going to hire people who can't follow those 3 rules.
Yep. Well, why would we do any different? I mean, I can train anybody to clean a carpet, carry a tray in a restaurant. I can do all that stuff. I can't train you to be nice. I can't train you to be on time. All the things that you expect somebody to bring to the job. And I hear it all the time, and I'm sure you do too. I just can't find good employees. And I call BS on that usually, because I'll ask them, I said, do you have a McDonald's in your neighborhood or in your town? Everybody usually says yes. I said, great. Do you have a Chick-fil-A in your town? Most will say yes. I said, well, they both hire from the same applicant pool, which is the local high school. Why is it McDonald's can barely get them to grunt at you through the squawk box, and Chick-fil-A can get all these kids to say, please, my pleasure, thank you, greet them friendly? It's the strength of Chick-fil-A's culture that is producing these fantastic experiences. It's the same industry. It's fast food.
Chick-fil-A closes 1 day a week and still does more sales than McDonald's per unit.
Average McDonald's like 4.5 million. Average Chick-fil-A is over 8 million.
And they've got a system to get 3 lanes of cars through that place as fast as possible.
It is. Well, think about what they've done with that system. One, they've got a prototype. I think it's up and running, where the cars actually go through a tunnel and the kitchen is up on top, and the food comes down somehow. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing what they're doing.
So how do we get there? And I say that because when I tell business owners that we have to work on culture and values, I don't have time for that. That's not important. When we talk about creating systems, they're like, I can't get it out of my head, or they don't know how to get it out of their head and into a process, which in today's world, now that you've got AI and an iPhone, it's like almost impossible not to be able to do this. But yet I still find people struggle.
Well, you got to have a strong why. Okay. Like my why is very strong. I never want to be an employee ever again. That's why I do what I do. I can't be, I'll get fired. And so that why is strong enough, and I need to make certain amounts of money, and I want to have a certain lifestyle. If I did not have that strong why, you're right, I would probably just be kind of flapping in the breeze and going willy-nilly. But the way I got to the 90 minutes a week, and this is not the BS 4-hour work week thing. This is literally 90 minutes. Yep.
Tim works a lot more than 4 hours.
Oh, I know he does.
Yeah, just so we have clarity.
Oh, yeah, no, I know he does. If you're going to write a book like that, you can't do that in 4 hours a week. And so to be able to get there, I needed to have systems in place, a marketing system. The marketing runs on autopilot. I probably got anywhere between 20 and 30 campaigns running at any one time. It's all automated. I don't even have to touch it. Right now, there's postcards going out, and I don't even know about it. You have to have an operations system. What do the guys do when they first show up at the shop? They do this, this, and this. They check the truck. They check the air pressure. They clean the van, yada, yada. And it gets done every single day. It's like a pilot, right? I mean, would you get on an airplane where the pilot just decided, you know what? I'm not doing the checklist today. I'm just going to wing it. No, you would not get on that plane. So why is your business any different? How do you guarantee that you can consistently deliver a great experience without a system behind it? And systems give you freedom. Once the system is up and running, all you got to do is manage the thing. And then you can step back. I mean, all right, maybe you don't want to step back. I did. That's just the kind of owner I wanted to be.
Well, every owner wants to step back from the things they don't want to do. And so you can step back from the things you don't want to do, and you can stop being the bottleneck, and you can stop getting a million questions every day.
100%. 100%.
How long do you think it takes to install a system into the average company?
It's ongoing. I mean, I would love to say, yeah, you could get this done in 6 months. I guess it depends on how hard you want to work at it and if you have employees that are going to help you. But just start with one. Okay, today I'm going to come up with the how do I get in the front door system? And you take your iPhone or whatever iDoohickey you have, and you record yourself going through getting into the customer's home. Then you upload that to your favorite Chatty G or whatever, and say, create a what, how, why SOP for me from this transcript. Poof, done. Now you distribute that to your employees, you role play it, and then you consistently reinforce it and inspect it. You can't just give it to them and expect them to do it. You actually have to show them how and then inspect what you expect.
You said you teach other people how to do this. Do you run into people fighting you against doing it? Or are they all accepting?
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
No, or are they accepting of it?
Most of the time, they've already accepted it, but by the time they've hired me, especially if it's a one-on-one consultant. Folks in my coaching group, though, seem to be sometimes reticent. They just don't believe it, that this is going to, oh no, systems, that's going to stifle me. That's going to stifle my creativity. I won't be able to. No, it actually gives you brain time to do other things. If you're doing what you do by rote, I mean, that system in and out, you're managing it, you actually have brain space in order to be able to think of other things. How to expand the business, how to improve your customer retention, how to create another wow experience for one of your customers. Without them, you're constantly thinking of, how do I do this? What do I do? Is it time for this?
It's true. I've noticed that even what I do is pretty systematic in a lot of what our client delivery is. And even when I used to do more of the podcast stuff, it was very, very systematic. But I found when I had a checklist, it went faster and smoother than when I didn't. Even though I knew how to do it all, it was me doing it. And it's kind of surprising. And it's because I think what you said, I don't have to think anymore. I just execute. And I think that's a big part of it, is the ability to just quickly execute without wasting any time thinking. And it's really a massive. And even though I tell people that, I still struggle, kind of like you do with your groups, to get them to go.
Yep. And at some point, the light bulb does go off. It's the old, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And, I've said things. I mean, I'm a one-trick pony. I've only got so many clicks on my dial. And so I repeat a lot of stuff. And then 3 years in, somebody will say, oh my God, I've never heard that from you before. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's only say it every other week. They only hear it when they're ready. So when they're ready to implement systems, they'll let us know, I guess.
So I have to keep repeating stuff week after week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Sometimes I feel like, maybe I shouldn't, but maybe I should. That's
Sooner, like I said, I say the same thing and just find different ways to say it.
And that makes sense. When you have these meetings with your operations manager who's running your company, what does that look like? Like, what are you looking for? What do you want from him or her? How does that meeting go?
Sure. He has to do what the military would call a after action report. So we meet on Fridays and we review the previous week and we go over the numbers and then financials, soup to nuts, revenue, expenses, etc. And then I ask him the pointed questions. How many new contacts did you make? How many new referral partners did you go visit? How many of those did you sign on as a referral partner? And we get down into the nitty gritty of what the company is supposed to be doing. Because we have a salesperson and their whole job is to drive around our area and get and keep referral partners. So we find out, all right, how many of them did you do this week? And were you on track or off track? We look at callbacks. Did we have any callbacks this week? Right. I mean, the goal is 0, and every once in a while we'll have one. And then I'm like, all right, how did you resolve it? And what did it cost us, if anything? 90% of the time, they did it right. Oh, we were running late and we stopped at the grocery store and we bought flowers for the lady on the way there. And who can yell at a guy standing on the front porch when they're holding a bouquet of flowers? Okay, fine. Well, it's true. I mean, you can't really yell at a little 23-year-old who's got flowers and he's here to clean your carpet. But so it's a very structured conversation. We go over what do we want to do for innovation that week. So is a system that we're going to innovate? Is it a product that we're going to test out? Is it a new piece of equipment? Is it, a new time clock? I don't know, something along those lines. And so it's very structured. And then, I ask my questions, and then it's time for the GM to ask his questions.
What do you do when they're not hitting their targets or their goals? Like the first time that happens, like let's say, all right, how many of these? Well, it was below goal. This is
Yep.
week one.
And I ask why, and then I shut up. Why didn't you do it? I'm a big fan of Yoda. You either do or do not. There is no try. Why wasn't it done? And then I let him go humana, trying to answer the question. 99% of the time, the reasons are BS, and it was I didn't feel like it, or it got away from me, or I'm like, no, that's not how it's going to work. Let's go over your schedule. Let's do time blocking. So I give them the tools in order to allow them to be able to do what's expected.
Have you had situations where it's been multiple weeks in a row that the people aren't doing what they're supposed to do?
If it goes 2 weeks, that's like their last warning. I don't wait. I fire fast. Unemployment compensation be damned. I fire fast. I can't afford to have anybody not following directions because they're affecting my income.
How far off do they have to be for you to say, like, where is that line?
I'll give them 10 or 15. Percentage wise, the goal is to get to 20 every week. If you hit 18, I'm not going to, be an ogre about it. However, if you're at 13 or 14 or 10 a couple of weeks in a row, and I ask why and you don't have a good reason, then we're going to have issues. If the why is strong, like, oh, well, Fred called out sick the whole week and I had to cover his route, great. I get it. Things happen. You had to do what you had to do to keep the business up and running. How are we going to avoid that in the future? And so then we look at it. Okay, well, do we have an apprentice or an on-call person so that we can cover shifts and you can do your job?
What do you do when it's a uncontrollable metric? And uncontrollable is not the right word, but let's just say that the goal is to make 20 calls and get 10 sales. They claim they're making 20 calls, but every week they're getting 5 sales.
So one, we'll look at the script. The script that we use is pretty tight and proven. And the thing is that we're not actually going after a sale. We're going after a referral partner. So somebody that can refer to us again and again and again, not just a onesie twosie. So we'll go to a real estate office or a plumbing office. And usually we go in with gifts, and we go in there with a big bowl of candy or fruit. And we say, hey, we're going to come in every week and refill this candy bowl for you. Do you mind if we just have some brochures in the candy bowl? And if somebody said, one of your technicians notices a mess, or if you're a realtor and you need the house spiffied up before you put it on the market, give us a call. So we're really looking for referral partners, because once we get referred, closing the sale is easy. Referred people they're a yes waiting to happen.
So that's interesting. How do you build referral partners?
So it's a system, again, process. So literally, I kind of explained it. We identify people who can refer us. Usually it's people that are in other people's homes all the time: housekeepers, electricians, plumbers, pest control, you name it. Our salesperson goes and visits these offices, talks to Marge at the front desk, and says to Marge, hey, I'd love to leave a bowl here for your clients that come in and visit you, or your employees. Would it be okay if I put some brochures here for information? 9 times out of 10, they say yes, unless Marge is on a diet. And then I got to put like apples or something, which is still doable. We really don't have too many people say no to that, because we're offering value right up front. We haven't asked for anything. I haven't asked for a meeting. I haven't asked to speak to the owner, nothing. And you've got to then be consistent. We go now, the candy bowl is our excuse to go back. So you're not a pest of a salesperson. Oh my God, here he comes again. No, you're just going in, hey, I'm just here to check on the candy bowl. Does it need to be refilled? Okay, great. We dump some more candy in there. And oh, by the way, here's some Post-it notes. Everybody needs Post-it notes. Let me leave some of these behind for you. And they have our little logo on it. And then we do it over the course of 4 or 5, 6 weeks. Now we show consistency. Now we show that we can be trusted to show up when we say we're going to show up. So we're building that trust. At about week 5 or 6, we ask, hey, we would love to do a little training for your office on either on the referral process we're using, because people are always looking for ways to make money, or can we do a an educational piece on mold, or if a toilet backs up on an expensive rug, what not to do. And so again, providing value to them. All that value translates into people remembering, because the plumber will remember. Oh yeah, I remember when that guy came and talked to me about, the $60,000 rug that the toilet backed up on. Oh, I know what to do. And so it's not designed to get a flood of referrals from one source. It's designed to get 1, maybe 2 referrals a month from that source. But we have over 70 right now, 70 referral partners. So if we're getting 1 a month from each of them, which sometimes we get none, sometimes we get 4, so I just go with 1, that's 70 solid referrals coming in that are just ours for the taking and ours to screw up to not get the job.
Interesting. World of AI and social media, I'm hearing that door knocking is coming back.
For the people that are not lazy. The business owners that are lazy are going to refer on social media and the stuff that they can do sitting from their desk or on their phone.
What I mean, though, is that door knocking is coming back as an art that works.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody said something surprising to me about door knocking. They're like, people are working all day and they actually appreciate the interruption.
Yeah, sometimes.
It's a reason to stop working.
And if the guy is standing there with a bowl of candy, even better.
Even better. You work with a lot of business owners. Do they all use this same technique, or do they use something different, or how do they do it? And what are the different industries?
Sure. So we've done this with home inspectors. We've done this with attorneys, financial advisors. Some will, because they are a nationwide or regional, and going to people's offices just can't be done. So what we'll do is we'll go into forums. And again, we just start answering questions that people have. We're not advertising, providing value. Candy Bowl online would be us just answering questions and providing value. Once you've provided enough value, then you can reach out to the forum owner and say, hey, I've been active in this group now for, 30, 60 days. Would it be okay if I offered a quick 5-minute LinkedIn live training? They'll go through and they'll look and they, oh my God, yeah, the guy's, every other day he's answering questions, providing value, never asked for the sale. Thumbs up. So it really can be adapted to any industry. I mean, a salesperson selling industrial pumps actually uses the same system.
So 2 questions. One, what type of forums? Are there certain platforms that are better than other platforms for the forums?
Certainly. I mean, if you go on Reddit is pretty good, is solid. People are looking. Facebook has been hit or miss. If you get the right group, like for our mold remediation company, Facebook has been great because there are a lot of mold communities, people that are allergic to mold, sensitivities to mold, et cetera, et cetera. And we can go in there, offer value. And if they're in our area, we can, possibility of getting work from them. LinkedIn has been good if you can get accepted, because a lot of the groups on LinkedIn you have to be accepted by the group owner. So it depends on if you are in professional services. Home services works better on Facebook or the LinkedIn or the local ones. Professional services more so on LinkedIn.
Out of curiosity, who is the lawyer calling on to make those relationships for the referrals?
Sure. So we have an estate planning attorney, and they will work with financial advisors, wealth managers, other attorneys that are not in estate planning, and they have a person on their team. Their job is to continually reach out and visit these offices that can support them. So every business has businesses that sell to the same person. They're just selling something else. So yeah, I mean, definitely an attorney can do this.
One of the other things you talk about, so you spend all this time to get the customer. What are you doing to keep the customer and to get them to buy again? Because it's a lot easier to get someone to buy again than it is to get them to buy the first time.
Oh yeah. And it's a lot cheaper. You don't have to go
Yes.
out and get the customer again, which is expensive. You have to, well, first you got to be intentional. You have to remember that it's not the customer's job to remember you. It's your job to remind the customer that you exist. And so how do we do that? And we also need to do it where we're not always selling to them. There's nothing worse than the only time you hear from a company is when they want money. Oh, here's our Labor Day sale. Here's our President's Day sale, yada, yada. That's not building a relationship. So hopefully you've delivered a great experience. So if you haven't delivered a great experience, you probably don't have much of a prayer for a repeat purchase. So let's assume that you do. So you want to continue that experience. We use both online and offline, and it's a combination of non-salesy and salesy things. One thing I recommend every business do is a print newsletter monthly, if you can afford it, if not at least every other month. And the job of the newsletter is to further the relationship, continue the emotional connection that you've created. Think of your newsletter as Reader's Digest Light. It's there to entertain. It's not there to talk about your new Succomatic 3000 and how well it cleans carpet, because nobody cares. Actually, one of the best features of my newsletter is stupid criminal stories. People love that. I don't know why, but they love it. And then 2 weeks later, they'll get a postcard, and the postcard is the offer of the month or the promotion. So that's where we do the selling. And then we'll do weekly emails. And it's a combination of the stories from the newsletter with the offer from the postcard, and we send that out. So we've hit them, 1, 4, 6 times a month with different media.
And what are you usually putting in that newsletter?
So it is, like I said, kind of Reader's Digest light. I put stuff in there, and this is just me. Others may or may not want to do this, but it's stuff with my personality. I shamelessly use my children in my marketing. I have no problem with that. So one of the features we had, my daughter's 18 now, but when she was 5, she was in ballet, and we took a picture of her in her little tutu. I put that in the newsletter and ran that I did that every year for 6 or 7 years. And I remember we were in the grocery store, and this lady came running up to my daughter, and she said, "Oh my God, Emma, how is your recital?" Daughter and I looked at each other and go hide in the frozen food section. Who's this nutty lady? And then I had to think, oh, wait, she gets my newsletter. She's got to be one of my clients. She's watched my daughter grow up. So it doesn't even have to be a big article. It could just be, a 4x6 picture in there. People like to be entertained. They don't like to be educated. So, we'll put stuff in there, healthy home tips, or, what famous person was born this month in 1862. Again, the stupid criminal stories. There's always a stick item. So like a Sudoku puzzle or a crossword or a word find, because that gets the thing to sit around. If you're a puzzle person, you can't bear to have an undone puzzle. It's got to be completed before you throw it away. So I know that the newsletter is going to stick around at least until the word find is all done. So yeah, and it doesn't have to be big. I mean, mine's only is 4 pages. It's just a 11 by 17 piece of paper folded in half.
Do business owners make this all too complicated?
Oh God, yeah. And they don't know how to get out of their way and outsource. So people are going to be thinking, oh my God, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to do a postcard, a newsletter, all this stuff. And you might not, but if you can get away from doing the $10 an hour work and start doing $100 an hour work, okay, so maybe you don't twist a wrench this week. You do some marketing. So you trade your $10 work for some $100 work, or you hire a VA or your mother-in-law if you can stand her. No offense to mother-in-laws, of course.
My VA's in the Philippines.
Yeah, mine too.
There's plenty of AI stuff out there, and there's like for postcards, there are companies that if you make a service call at this address and you go, oh, this is a good neighborhood, they'll automatically send a card just to the houses around it.
Yep.
Most of that stuff is, I would say, under $1 a card,
Mm-hmm.
which compared to Facebook, to me, seems cheaper. But more importantly, when I get a postcard, I look at it, even if I don't want to. I kind of have to look at it. And 2, if it's something of interest, I hold on to it, which Facebook comes and goes.
Yeah.
Like, you're not holding on to a Facebook ad, right?
No. I mean, I've got the tree guy, a local tree guy. I got a tree I need to work. I saw the postcard like a month ago, still sitting here on my desk. I'm just waiting to call him.
Yeah. And they sit there until people finally take action. Is there anything we should have chatted about or you think is valuable that we didn't get to?
Maybe not a tactic or strategy, but I think we unpacked a whole bunch of gold nuggets here. And the overreaching or overarching thing I would say is pick one and implement. If you don't implement, you're not going to move the needle. And whether you heard something on this podcast or you read a book or another podcast, pick one idea you heard today and go out and try it and move the needle, and then take another thing. You got to take that first step. Implementation. We all have enough stuff. We all have enough information. We just don't have enough implementation.
That's because we're too busy
with our stuff.
Funny how that is.
If
people would like to learn more about you and how you help business owners, what's the best way for them to find you?
2 places. LinkedIn is the only social media I do. I'm the only Vance Morris Disney guy there. And then if your listeners would like, I do have a what I call a hot sheet. And it's 52 ways to wow your customer without breaking the bank. So 52 low or no cost ways. You got one wow for every week of the year. And you can find that at wow52ways.com.
Cool. We'll put that into the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I appreciate you having me on, Rocky. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this unedited video of the Profit Answer Man podcast. If you'd like to catch the full episode and learn more about what we do, check us out at profitcomesfirst.com. We also go through the Profit First book in each and every chapter in the beginning episodes of the podcast, so check those out as well. Thanks for listening, and here's to you having a more profitable and growing business.